So let's talk about your health plan for the 30 days. What I want you to include in your health plan is raw fruits. Now, raw fruits, while they have a lot of sugar, many of them have a lot of sugar, they also have a lot of fiber. And so those are good to add into your diet to take away that urge to eat other sugary substances like candy, like even fruit juices. And one thing about fruit juices is while they have the benefits of some of the fruit, they also don't have that fiber that's included in the raw fruits. So I would say limit the number of juices, but add in those raw fruits for yourself. Obviously, be moderate about that. Now, one other thing I want you to add in is healthy vegetables. Some vegetables are healthy, but yet you don't want to add too much of them. And so, for example, avocados, which are really popular right now because they have some really good fats in them, the omega-3s. While those are good, or avocados are good to add into your diet, you don't want to add too much of them. So make sure to limit the quantities that you're having of avocados specifically. Also, I would say potatoes, just because they have a high carbohydrate content, and also things like corn, because also it has a high carbohydrate content, a lot of sugar in corn. But just like the raw fruits, those do have fiber in them as well. So you do want to add them in, but still limit them. Now, one other thing I want you to add in is high protein nuts and legumes. And legumes meaning mostly focused on beans. One thing to know about eating nuts, for example, pecans and almonds and nuts like that, is you've got a lot of fat in those. So you do want to limit those, of course, but they are a good source of protein. They're a good source of fiber as well. So we want you to add that in as part of your healthy eating plan. If you're a meat eater, I do want you to continue to eat meat. I would say limit the quantity of meat that you eat. And also, if you would, add in fish, chicken, turkey, other poultry as a preference. So eat those more than you would eat the red meats like beef, pork, lamb, buffalo, deer, for example. So try to eat less red meat and when you eat meat, eat more of the fish and the chicken. In reality, there's fat in both. There's protein in both, so both can be good, both can be bad, both the whiter meats and the more red meats. But the fact is that the red meats are actually just unhealthier for you. So they're a worse choice, but it doesn't mean you have to eliminate them altogether. Because the final thing we're going to be talking about is we want you to keep eating the foods that you love. I don't want to take away all your enjoyment from eating. So I want you to continue to eat those foods that you love, but just limit the quantity of the food that you eat. In the US, we eat way too much. So then I want you to also go shopping for those good foods. So I want you to go buy those good foods that are on your plan. Then in order to avoid any undesired temptations, just make sure not to buy or not to have your family members buy any of those foods that can be very tempting to you that you know that you really don't want to eat. Now, if you do want to continue to eat some of those foods, just limit the quantity that you eat. Now, I know things like the party size of the Oreos, the double stuffed Oreos, is a better deal when you buy it in larger quantities. But if you buy it in larger quantities, that means you're going to actually end up eating that quantity of food as well. So buy a small package. A lot of cookies and candies can come in very small packages. So go ahead and buy them if that's what you want to continue to eat. Just buy them in smaller quantities, and that way you'll eat less. Even though it's more expensive per cookie to buy them in smaller quantities, or per candy piece to buy them in smaller quantities. It's really important to try to limit the amount that you're eating. And if you have a big package of it, you're more likely to eat more of it.